specification time, design time itself, you can apply the rule sets and you can standardize the specification process. Okay, so there are a lot of things. These two are, themselves, they are different topic. So we already had sessions on this in our meetup. So please go ahead and have a look at those sessions. The new one is this one, API Catalog CLI. Now, why we are using this? So it will use your specification, which is created anywhere else, not in the Anypoint platform. You can create anywhere else, okay, by using any tool. Those specification can bring it and publish it to the exchange. Okay, so from the exchange, we can see, we can discover, we can secure, we can monitor. So definitely we'll be securing with the help of Flex Gateway. We'll be standardizing with the help of API governance. So this tool will give you the automation part where instead of doing manually, instead of writing documentation for the APIs manually, it will give you the automation part where from from your pipelines itself you can publish that to your exchange. That's the API catalog tool for it. Okay, how it works? Okay, so the developer, they will write the specification. Okay, and that specification, along with that, we'll be writing one descriptor file. We'll talk about it, how it looks. Okay, and with the help of this descriptor file plus the API specification, we'll put it in the code repository. It could be anything. Okay, GitHub Actions. Today we'll keep the GitHub Action. You can keep it anywhere, and you can write a CI/CD pipeline and run the CLI commands. Okay, catalog CLI commands that will automate the cataloging part of your API. So all in one place, and we can say one source of truth, basically, or exchange. On exchange, you'll find all the documentations of the API. So that's where you'll find Mule API specification, non-Mule API specifications, available on exchange. Okay, so that's the one marketplace, one shop for API discovery, and that's where we see catalog of API. You'll find it on exchange. So this is how it works. So the first step, you'll be creating descriptor file. Then you go to the CI/CD pipeline, right? And then automatically those workflows will be getting triggered whenever you make any change in the code repository. Okay, the first part. Balkish, please watch the chat section. Okay, for any questions.
Yeah,
And I'm not able to see that chat sections right now. Okay, so please monitor that.
yes,
Thank
Ashish.
you.
There is a question from Anu.
Mhm.
So, once the API is cataloged in a exchange, can we run API governance and rules on them?
So, see, whatever is published on the exchange, right? Right now, we can write our profiles for the API governance. Okay, and in the API governance profile, you can mention that which type of API you wanted to govern, basically. Okay, so those will get filtered over this based on tags, based on API type, whether it's a REST API, a sync API, whether based on the categories. If that published API comes in that category, definitely the governance will get applied. Okay, if you're writing that specification inside your design center, there itself we can apply the rule sets. Okay, so you can write your business specific API governance profile and set those filtering criteria. If those are applied, definitely you'll see that whether that API specification is conformant or not.
And is it automated, Ashish? This is Anup here. So
Yeah.
where I'm trying to say is, like, in my organization, I'm already implementing this API cataloging,
Mm.
and we are yet to reach or set up those with the CI/CD. But what I wanted to understand in this forum is, once I'm cataloging, like say there are many APIs which are published by SAP system and everything, we are using Exchange as the cataloging tool or
Mhm.
discoverability. So once
Mhm.
the API comes into the Exchange, will
Yes.
those API governance or automatically kick in, or do we need to have some process, someone manually needs to do that?
We don't need to do if your API governance profile is already set there. Okay, we don't need to.
Okay.
So the The prerequisite is when you're publishing your API specification on Exchange,
Mm-hmm.
your API governance profile should be there. And
Correct.
second prerequisite is whatever API you are publishing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That should get filtered under that profile. Okay,
Correct.
so when we
Okay.
create profile, we give a lot
Mm-hmm.
of filter criteria. Created profile for REST APIs, it won't come over there. It won't
Correct. Makes sense.
show. It is
Yeah.
completely automated. Yeah, completely automated.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, publishing also automated, and the profile, if your profile is available, if that criteria is matching filter criteria, it will definitely show that. And immediately what will happen, whoever is the owner of that API specification, who published it, right, who is the owner, that owner will get a notification email saying that your API, this part, is not confirmed. So you'll able to see there itself, in the mail itself it will show you. And then owner of that API can trigger, it shows the option view in Exchange what are the problems with this specification.
Okay, got it. So in today's session, when you're gonna do a demo, are we
Mhm.
gonna so are you just gonna do it until publishing this any API in an exchange, or are you gonna take one step ahead to show how the API governance also will work once you publish that API using Anypoint
Already,
CLI?
yeah, as I mentioned, right, for Flex Gateway API governance, we already did the sessions. Okay, so you can go ahead and watch our Coimbatore meetup recordings. You'll find there. Okay, if you don't find there, I have one YouTube channel. There also we have. But today we are planning only for catalog API. Okay, cataloging the API by using catalog CLI.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for that questions, man. Thank you. Okay. Now let's start with the first part of our setup. Okay, so first thing is we need latest and greatest Node.js. Whatever you want to run the CLI, right? Whether it's Anypoint CLI or API Catalog CLI or Anypoint CLI version 4, we need Node.js. Okay, and we need npm. So first, we need to install the latest and greatest, LTS version of Node.js. So first command will install it. We can verify also. So if you already installed, definitely, since I'm taking these sessions, I've already installed it. So I'll just go ahead and just check what all versions are there. Okay, and your node has to be on above 18, and your npm has to be above 9. So try to be at the latest. Once you have this npm and node ready, you can go ahead and install catalog CLI. Okay, so the catalog CLI will be installing the latest one, and the simple command, it's npm install -g API catalog. Once it is installed, we can cross check also. We'll fire the command API-catalog. You can see on my left hand side screen. Okay, what I'm doing is first I'm checking it, and then I'm installing it. Okay, and then I'm checking the node version. You can see that node version 18.4 I have, and npm version I have 9.1.3, and then I'm installing my catalog CLI. Okay, once that catalog CLI is installed, I can simply fire command called API-catalog, and I'll be able to see whether my API catalog is installed on my machine properly or not. Okay. Then comes the authentication part. Okay. Once, yeah, you install it. Now how can I access? Because any CLI, whether it's Anypoint CLI, Anypoint CLI version, or your Anypoint catalog CLI, they wanted to communicate to your Anypoint platform. Okay. And behind the scene, they will be communicating to your Anypoint platform by using platform APIs. Now to access those platform APIs, we need a token. Okay, so that token can be generated by using our Anypoint platform credentials, connected app, or if you have those credentials with you, you can create your token, and you can pass that token to the catalog command. Okay, so to setting this authentication part, we have different ways of doing it. We can go ahead and create a config file. Now, here I am facing the problem. Okay, so I already did some demos, and those credentials are there in that config file. and I'm not able to figure out or locate that config file where it is. On Windows, they have given some path, but it's not there. Okay. And now with the new credentials, when I'm trying to run this command, right, catalog command, it's still pointing to the old. So when we'll be doing this demo, I need some, if anybody's expert is there, I need your help to locate that file where it is, so that I can remove, because the remove those credentials also not working as per my expectation. So we'll see that. Okay, one time. Any questions on that, Balkish? So
No,
installing the
Ashish,
catalog
we are
CLI
good. Yeah.
and then authentication process. Okay, okay, we are good. Okay, thank you. So to automate this process, right, or to run this catalog CLI, we need a descriptor file, catalog descriptor file. And for this, we don't need any authentication. Okay. So what we need is, so wherever your specification is there, bring that. Okay, bring that specification, and from that directory, we'll be running command API catalog create descriptor. Very simple. Either you can run that without naming, so default naming will be catalog.yaml, or with the name you can give your own name. So what your name you wanted to give, business specific name. Say for example, on my screen you can see that I have written specification for simple authors REST API. So you can say authors cataloging, right, or author RESTful API cataloging dot YAML. You can give whatever name you want. Once it is created, we can add our tags here. You can see the tags, how I'm adding it. So I'm adding tags, and tags will be very useful metadata when you're filtering your APIs. So just now before this slide, right, we had a question, right? So API governance heavily uses tags, heavily uses the categories, information to filter the APIs specification. So we can go ahead, we can add a documentation for our API, we can add the contact information for the API. So we can add those informations in descriptor file. Once the descriptor file is ready, okay, in the descriptor file we can write the a lot of things. I'll come to this. This is a simple, simple and sweet descriptor file, very generic, where I have tags, I'm adding contact, and I'm adding documentation. For documentation, we need a markdown file. I hope everybody is aware of markdown, how we are writing that. So we need to write in some format. Okay, so that format also will show you how it looks. Once you create that file, you put that file in the same directory where your descriptor file is there, or if you're putting somewhere else, give that path over here. Okay, but when you're packaging it, because we need to package it and source control over there, so create proper folders for this. So your descriptor file, your specification file, and home.md, the last line you see here. Let me bring my, yeah, this one over here. Okay, this one, this will be showing the documentation for your API on Exchange. So we'll see that how it looks. Okay. So this simple documentation file, and then we have a command to run. So as I mentioned, authentication process, where we can pass these credentials, like platform credentials, whether it's a connected app or your username, password, or token, in the command publish command itself, or before that we can configure also. So there is a command to configure that API hyphen catalog config, right, conf, and then you can pass username, set that username, password, set that password, organization ID, set that organization. Once you set this, you can simply call command called API hyphen catalog publish hyphen hashet from the directory where your catalog.yaml file is there. Once you do that, if everything is fine, your credentials are fine, what will happen? You can see on my screen, this case, this specification will get published to your exchange. And once you publish it, right, you'll be able to see this API on your exchange with the proper tags, with proper contact information, with proper documentation. Okay. Okay. Any questions so far? Balkesh? Okay. This catalog.yaml file can be little advanced. We can add a lot of things here. So we can add the trigger conditions. When should this publish should get triggered? So you can have some trigger criteria, like you can have reference as a main, tags migrate, and then status equal to complete. If these conditions are matching, then only your API specification will get triggered. So when you fire this command, it will go to the descriptor file and check whether these values are matching. For example, here, right, trigger criteria says reference is equal to main, criteria is equal to tags is equal to migrate, and status is equal to complete. So in first command is matching, so it will publish your asset to the exchange. In second command, if you see there, for reference I gave test, for tags I gave migrate, and status I gave complete. But in my descriptor file, right now I have only reference as a main. That means the second command, if I fire, right, it won't publish your asset to the exchange. Okay, so this triggering criteria you can set it. You can set the version strategy also. Okay, so how the version strategies should be. Okay, so where my major version should be incremented, where my minor version should be incremented, where my batch version should be incremented. All those things we can add it in the version strategy conditions. Okay, so if you look at how I'm writing it, that will be the right side, and how we can run the command, that is the left hand side. So first command, if you look at it, right, again publish command, but now with the version strategy. Okay, so if the tags is equal to support, strategy is equal to the branches is equal to master, and finally branch is equal to develop. Okay, so if you look at that, if this condition matches, so there is a typo here. Okay, so that has to be um, branches, not the branch. Okay, the last one. Okay, once that criteria, what condition matches, it will change your master branch and major version. Okay, it will increment the major version over there in the master branch. Second one is, since this condition is not matching, where branch is equal to main there, but I don't have any main branch in my version strategy condition. Okay, so the second one won't version your asset. Any questions over here? So this trigger conditions, this version strategy, we can add it in our catalog.yaml file. Now finally, instead of running those commands manually, we can do the automation by using GitHub Actions. So GitHub Actions are very standard steps. First, set up the workflow. So I'm expecting here, when I'm on this slide, I'm expecting that already you have code repo. So create a Git repo and then set up a workflow. Workflow is you'll find there actions, GitHub actions, and via that we'll set up a workflow to publish APIs automatically. So you can see on the right hand side, I'll explain each and every line over here. So the first line, just the name of my workflow. Okay. So I can write whatever I want here. So some, but descriptive, meaningful. So if you first read the first line, we are publishing to exchange using catalog CLI. Now second command, if you see on push branches. So this is actually a trigger for this build job, this publish job. Okay. Whenever somebody is pushing on my main branch, then this workflow will get triggered. Now, whatever jobs you have mentioned, those jobs will get executed. But to trigger this workflow, this is the first on push branches, main branch. If you are pushing something on the main branch, then only this workflow will trigger. Now we have build job here. Under jobs, if you see, we have build job. Let me bring my, so this one is our branch. So when you are pushing to this branch, this workflow will trigger. Now we have build job. To build, to run anything, we need runners. Okay. And we have different runners. We have Ubuntu runner, we have Windows runner, we have Mac runners. But make sure, guys, recently we faced a lot of problems with this option. I'll tell you, okay? So Ubuntu latest, it uses 3.9.0 version of Maven, and this version of the Maven has issues. So immediately our pipeline started breaking. Okay, so we tried deploying our code and started using 3.9.0 because this actually downloads the image. This is the image actually. Okay, in this Docker image, they have mentioned 3.9.0, and 3.9.0 has some one class is missing over there. So our code was using 3.8, which is stable version. 3.8.7. This is stable version of Maven. It has everything. So now how to enforce our Ubuntu latest to have 3.8.7 instead of 3.9.0. So we did that so customization. So we need to create our own image where we are downloading this Maven version, and then we are enforcing to use only 3.8.7. So please make sure that how we are here actually instead of latest also you can use something like Ubuntu hyphen 20.04. So but that 20.04 also it's not stable. Sometimes it uses 3.8.7, sometimes it uses 3.9.7. So internally it has some caching issues. Okay, so you can't rely on that Ubuntu hyphen 20.04. Okay, so that's the runner. You need some VM, you need some machine to run our stuff. Then we are going to perform these steps on our machine now. So first thing is, since this change happened on this branch, check out that code. So that code will be check out on this machine. That repo will be check out. Entire repo will be check out. Same folder structure will be created on our runner, this machine. Okay. On this machine, already JDK is there, already your Maven is there. Now you can run shell script over here. You can run PowerShell script on here on this virtual machine. You have that power. So if you want to write, literally you can write shell script here. Literally you can write PowerShell script here. Uh, you can download stuff over here. Okay, by writing the code. So once your code is ready, available on your runner, now I can go ahead and install because catalog CLI won't be there. So I need to install it. So we have seen this Ubuntu, right? So I'll just say, hey, go ahead and install first the catalog CLI. This is the command we have fired on our local machine also. Same command we fire on the our virtual machine, which is our Ubuntu. Okay. Once the command is installed, now either you can set the credential here itself by setting by running command API catalog conf and then username, then password, then arc ID. You can set it there, or we can pass those credentials in published command directly. If you see here, we are passing organization, we are passing username here, we are passing password. Now, if you are using connected app, then simply instead of username, client underscore ID, and instead of password, client underscore secret. That's it. Okay. So when you are using connected app, just replace this username and password with client ID and client secret. Now, this command, whatever you see here, right? This command will point to a default host. Default host is your anypoint.mulesoft.com. If you don't pass host parameter here, it will always point it to the anypoint.mulesoft.com. If you want to change your host, for example, if you want to point it to the Europe control plane, right? Then you need to mention here hyphen host and equal to eu1.anypoint.newsop.com. If you have your own means the customer hosted control plane, then you can give that name my anypoint.com, right? So you can host your control plane under US. I mean, already Newsort hosted US control plane and Europe control plane. If you don't want that, okay, so if you have some data regulations restrictions, you can go ahead and host the control plane within your corporate network, within your private network, behind your firewall. So that's the third control plane I'm talking about. Okay, once you do this, um, we'll look at the demo now. So first we'll do the installation, then we'll create a descriptor file, then we'll create the authentication connected app. Uh, then we'll publish our asset. Then we'll create CICD pipeline. So I have this 4 5 demos for this session. So before moving to that, do we have any questions?
Okay. Anup, you have a mic. You can.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Oh yeah, sure. I was just gonna ask Ashish,
Mhm.
are we publishing whatever APIs are getting published using this command line CLI or using this GitHub? They'll be
Mhm.
published directly in the prod environment in any point because there might be different environments as well, right?
Exactly. So if you look at here, right, the command here, right, you
Mm-hmm.
can mention your environment also, just like I mentioned the host, right?
Okay.
Okay, so you can set the environment. So, but when you are publishing to the exchange, right, this is common. Exchange is agnostic to the environment. Design center is agnostic to the environment. Okay, keep that in mind. It's a specific to business group. Business group can hold it. Okay,
Okay, because it can happen, right? Like if these are different teams are publishing their assets here, but those
that
APIs are
belongs.
still.
Yeah, that
Sorry.
belongs to the business group, not belongs to any environment. Specifications. Implementations belongs to environment. Specification never belongs to any environment.
Yep, that is what I.
Specification will be common for all environments. Implementations varies. That's it. In
Yep.
implementation, also properties only. Implementation also same for all the environments. Just you're connecting to different. Basically, the business logic will be same. Only you're connecting to different target system and source system. Otherwise, the business logic. The specification never change for any
Yep.
environment. Okay.
Got that. Got that point. All good.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see that. Okay, so let me see who can help me. But let's go ahead and yeah. So once that is done, I always recommend to please go ahead and share this with this tag on social sites. And if you have any questions, please post, visit our GitHub page, and give your feedback. After this, we'll be running one quiz, and yeah, so we'll be having fun. Thank you. Discard. Okay, let's go ahead and let me see if you are able to see my screen. Okay, so first let's create the separate directory. Okay, so let me bring my stuff here. Okay, let's create a fresh directory here and go one by one. Okay, so let's say this is CLI. Okay, we go inside. So from here, I'm running one command. Okay, so you can just put this here. Hope everybody is able to see my command line. Okay, so first command, let's try to see whether npm is there or not. So npm hyphen version, we'll see 9.6.0 is there. Okay, which is latest and greatest. Then we'll check node minus b. We have 18.13.0, which is fine. Now, if it is not there, what you can do, you can go and or if that version is very old, what you can do npm install minus G for global and say npm. Okay, you can go ahead and run this. Okay, so it will install the npm latest npm for you. Okay, so once you are ready, again you can file this command and see is anything updated. No, is anything updated in node 18.13.0 9.6.0. Okay, Once this is done, you can install the Anypoint catalog. So you can say npm install -g again, okay, API hyphen catalog hyphen CLI and @latest. You can go ahead with this command and say install. It takes time, okay. So, but I have already updated. Let's see how much time it takes. Can wait for this. But meanwhile, like, if you have any questions, let me know. We'll follow all these steps one by one.
Ashish, in the meantime, sorry, Mastan here.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me.
I have one quick question. You have mentioned, right, there is a problem with the Ubuntu latest that we are using as a VM image.
Yeah.
That is pointing out to 3.9. I'm
Yeah.
also facing the same issue. The pipelines are breaking up now.
Uh-huh.
Can you just help me here? Or else, if you have any guidance, how we can resolve this issue?
Yeah, yeah. Definitely, definitely.
The
So
customization that you have done.
yeah. So are you? I mean, just ask customers that are they okay to download something on their VM where the pipelines are running. That option you can do. And the other option I mentioned, right? Instead of Ubuntu latest, go ahead and use option called Ubuntu hyphen 20.04 and
Yeah,
see.
that I have
Uh-huh,
used after you have mentioned.
uh-huh. Cross check your whether your cache is still there. Okay, cache has to be removed. Okay, if the cache is still using, right, it will point to 3.9.0 only. So make some changes in the pom.xml. Okay, that will create new hash that will be cache miss, and then it will try to point it to 3.8.7. If that is not working, then you need to create your own image man. Okay, in that image you need to enforce. So first option I told you, right? If your client allows to download something, there is a I know you can ping me separately offline. We
Sure,
can discuss. Okay.
sure. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Okay, next command, just see we have downloaded, right? So I'll just go back to my command line. Just search for API catalog, not search for, fire this command. API catalog. Now this time no CLI, okay? Fire this, it will show you whether it's installed or not. See here, it's installed on your machine. It is installed on Windows 32, 64 bit, and node you can see that 18.13.0. Okay, and the version is 1.0.2. Okay, now as I mentioned, right, the problem which I'm facing, if anybody's expert there, okay, so in previous demo I already set my you know, I'll just show you first how we can set this. So we can go ahead and say conf, and you can say username and pass your username here. So for example, let's say my username is Ashish123. What this guy does, this guy goes in the backend, create one file called config.json. Now where it is getting created, I don't know. The on my other machine, it's properly coming. Okay, but on this machine, because I told you, right, there is a GitHub blocker on my other machine. So we need to figure out where this conf.json file is, config.json file is getting created, and how that file looks like. Let me show you that first. If you go here, right? Yeah. So see here, that file will get created on Windows. They are mentioning it will create it here. Okay, config.json. I don't find it. Mine is Windows machine, and then I don't have any way to reset those old credentials. So how to set this? Very simple. Okay, API catalog conf username and my user. Okay, so let's go ahead now and set this. Okay, so let's follow this and see. So first of all, let's log into our Anypoint platform first. So let me bring this and try to have a new account. So I'm trying to get new account. Hopefully I have only one business group. Get this business group ID. Get this business group ID. Copy this and on your notepad. Just bring the notepad. I have some notes over here, so I'll just note down those. So let's go ahead. First is org-id, which is this value. Okay, and then username. Definitely, reset this username password twice. Okay, so don't worry. But this is a bad practice, but that's fine. We're doing for community. Okay, so this is my username, and I have the password. Okay, that is A. Okay, so this is a password. So these three things we need. Okay, now let's try to set these three things. So if you follow the documentation properly, so if you go here, where is that? Okay, so I'll just go ahead and say MFA 2023. Done. Then I'll set password. Okay. Done. Third thing is automation, and you can find this value here. Okay, so this is third one. Okay, so in front of you, I set this all three for my fresh account. Okay, now let's try to create our descriptor. For creating descriptor file, this is not needed. Okay, but can we find this file somewhere on my machine? Okay, so if you follow the documentation, what it says, your file will look like this. Okay, so the moment you add this information, right, it will be keep on appending those values over here. Okay, so let's look at where this file is getting generated. It says that you can find this directory and this directory. Okay, so under this you should have go to, I'll just paste something over here. Control V. This is my local, right? And here they are asking to search for my CLI. After this, my CLI, nothing is there, right? Or even uh, Anypoint CLI version 4 is there, but not catalog. API, nothing is there. Okay. Second thing, in complete C directory, we can go ahead and search for that file called config.json. It will search, but there will be a lot of other config.json file, but okay, so this is a challenge for me right now. That's what I ask. Anybody is aware of it, where to find that file? Sarnik, you mentioned app data, roaming, catalog, diagnosis. Okay.
Ashish Sagnik you mentioned.
Sarnik, okay. Yeah, let me check. Thank you, man. Yeah. So, see users, my username, and then what you're saying. Uh, just a second. Username. username and then I'm just sharing with the directory. Did you see app data out here?
Ashish, when you check for that local in this, just type local
Okay.
initially and go one step behind. There it will have all roaming and all those things. So
Local.
local data which you were trying to search earlier.
Oh, I tried here only, right? So control
Yeah,
V.
yeah. Try hit that. Yep. Enter.
Uh-huh.
Now come back on your app data
App data.
and you'll see roaming.
Roaming. Perfect. Now roaming. Awesome. Got it. Thank you so much, yeah. Okay, open this now. So a lot of things will be, you know, so at the end, these things are added. But initially, there'll be a old username, password, these things are there. Just try to get this and then, okay, so yeah, thank you so much. What we'll do, we'll delete this file first, okay? Thanks, I was struggling to get this, or maybe we'll say, hmm, and set a new file, username, console. Alright, okay. And if I go to that directory, new file got created, and now you have only these three values. Okay, perfect. Okay. Now let's go here. Now, first thing we need to do is have some simple, uh, simple specification for your demo. So I have one simple specification. Maybe I'll pick that. So I have simple author specification. If you look at it, it's very simple. I have author so here and author ID, two resources. Okay, so we'll take this as our reference and we create our descriptor file. Okay, so let's go ahead and pick this directory and control C. So we have created one folder, right? Just keep it. Now we ran one command from here. So now what we'll do is we'll run our command. We API hyphen catalog create just for the document create descriptor, right? Create hyphen descriptor. Okay, if you want to give a name, you can go ahead and give by placing hyphen t and your file name. But if you don't give, it will simply create with if you see this. So it got created catalog.yaml file was successfully created, and this is the information that picked up automatically from that directory. So now let's go to our directory now. You can find catalog.yaml file here. Okay. So now we have simple this changes. Okay. Let's go ahead and with the dry run, we'll just fire this command now. API hyphen catalog and we'll say publish hyphen asset. If you publish properly, NP with no tags, nothing. Okay, it's publishing error. Job creation failed, access to resource, please check credentials permissions. Good. So having errors is fine. Let's have a look at it. So let's go here, and where is my, oh, this is the correct one. No, not this one. I'm supposed to log in here. Okay. So first you need to go to access management, and for your user, okay, try new features, teams, local permissions. For your user, add permission and just search for API uh, catalog. API catalog contributor. Either you can go here and apply it, okay, okay, or you can go ahead and apply it from the business group. There you'll find codes. Add permission. Okay, so permission is added. Now if I go ahead and trigger it, it should work. It's publishing now. Okay, so intentionally wanted to show the error. Okay, so that you'll remember that permissions has to be there for your user. Okay, now since this guy is publishing it, let's move on to the other part. So now I have one reference catalog.yaml file. I don't want to type it, guys. Sorry for that. Uh, I'll just go in one step back here, and I've already created one catalog.yaml file first. So I've added few information over here. Okay, so I added tags, I have added contact, and we'll add the documentation. So we'll go with this. Okay, so let's go. Why can't we go and create home dot in this file also? Wait, done. Let's see how it's looking at Exchange. Open it. So you can see that it got published successfully. You can see the date is published today only, but everything is empty right now. Under home, there is no documentation. If you go to the asset here, right? If you go for any there is no documentation, completely empty. Okay. Back to new UI. There are no tags, no contact information, no documentation. So this metadata is really, really important. I mean, more, so many cases, like when you are doing API governance, that time we need it, right? When we are doing a search for your API, when you're doing a discovery, that time you can have this tags over here. I don't want to add it manually. I don't want to add contact information manually. So now we'll go back to to our catalog.yaml file. Control C. This one is right now published with 1.0.0. Now I'm going to add new things, and let's publish it via 1.0.1. Okay, so under tags, I'm adding author, books, library, and I'm saying this is a system API. Okay, and let's do one mistake over here intentionally. Okay, let's see whether these informations are blindly getting published, or is there any validation behind these values. Okay, now home.md I need, which is my markdown file. I'll have simple documentation over there. So let me open this. Very simple documentation. Empty. Oh my god. Why it is empty? I will go to somebody else. It should not be empty. Come on. Okay. Okay. So kind of information documentation, right? Saying that this API gives the data based on this. These many resources are there. These are the URLs. These are the resources. get methods, your mock data looks like this, and you have error responses, okay responses. This home dot empty file you can have. Okay, so I'll just copy this and paste it in the directory where uh, we are running our commands. Okay, so now in this catalog.yaml file, if you see, I am trying to refer the file, and whatever documentation is there, where it will go and sits in the API specification home page. If you look at the home page right now, it's completely empty. Here, that documentation will come. The tags will come over here. Contact information will come over here. Okay, so let's go ahead now and first save this. Okay, and it should fail because I have added something which is not valid email address. Let's see. First fire it and let's see. Publish message. So this time it will publish it as 1.0.1. Okay, and it will publish with all tags, contact information, and this documentation also. Okay, let's wait for this error. Now you can see the error. What it says: contact information is invalid. Okay, the property. That means on this contact information there is a validation, right? Some regular expression for email. Now I need to go back. Intentionally, I gave wrong value here. I just need to correct it. This is a valid email address. Now save this. Now go ahead and trigger it. So it just won't publish blindly. Okay, so behind the scene there will be validations. Okay, since this is getting created, we did everything manually, right? Now let's go ahead and first try to create. Let's wait for this. Let's wait and finish it off. Any questions so far? Yeah, Balkesh, any questions?
Yes, Ashish, we are good. There's no question.
Okay. Okay. Now you can see that it's published with new version now, 1.0.1, and it is getting published over here. See, under this business group. So if you go to our exchange now, if I refresh this, you can see now proper documentation. See here how my JSON looks like, error responses, uh, and URLs, resources, methods. You just need to see that how this markdown file you can write. Okay, so this is the small syntax in this markdown file, right? If you wanted to render your JSON, these three fields you need to pass this. Okay, and then if you want to bold, then you can double star, and this is the uh, description. Correct. Okay, so that's the manual process, right? Now go to new UI and you can see the tags. See here, author, books, library, system API. You can see the proper email address is coming over here. You can go ahead and add the categories also. So you can go ahead and maybe if I have those, maybe I can show those documents. Let me do that. If I have those catalog notes, uh, just wanted to see. No, not here. Okay, I'll try to get it. So you can add the categories also. Okay. Okay, let's come back to our yeah. So everything we did it manually. Now we'll go back here and we go to our GitHub. Okay. Now we'll create a repo here first. First thing is the repo. We'll create the repo. So let's go ahead and say create new repository, and let's say I create with the same name. Uh, what we say catalog CLI. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I'll create this. Add readme file, and that's it. I wanted to create it public. Go ahead, create this public repo. Okay, so this public repo is created. Now, okay, so we have readme file, and this is what. Now, just go ahead and clone this. I'll go to my directory here, and I'll go one step back. I'll say git clone this. So I clone now. Go to this. The previous one. If I say I only readme file here. Now, what all I need, if I go here, yes, I need these three files. I'll just go ahead, copy this, go back here, and this is my control here. Okay, so I need this catalog for this directory, and this directory where I have my specification. Okay. Okay. So go ahead here, and if I say now git status, we have new files here. Now what I say git and okay, git create it. Um, main branch, right? Okay, perfect. Let's look at our repo now. If I refresh it, it would have all the files. Yes, I have all the files here. Now let's go ahead and if you remember in our command, previous command, right? Uh, our command which we ran to publish the content, it internally uses three parameters: username, password, and organization. So we need to go ahead and first create those. So where we can create, go to settings, and those variables or global variables or secrets we can create under settings. Go under secrets and variable here, and actions. Here we can go ahead and add those variables. So I'll just go ahead and say platform username, and if you remember the username, so it's this, and add second credentials, password, and then finally we have org ID, and let me take that value from my notes. This one. Here. So these are the three main parameters we are going to use to interact with our Anypoint platform. Okay, done. Now code is there or credentials are there. Somebody has to be there to connect these two things. That is nothing but workflow. So we are going to create a workflow here. But Bakish, before that, any questions? Any questions? Balkish, any questions? Are you there? Am I audible?
Yes, Ashi, sorry, I was talking in my. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Balkish, did you did you start the recording on time?
Yeah. I recorded. Yeah,
Okay,
started.
thank you. I missed it. Sorry, extremely sorry. Okay.
No,
Okay, yeah, just search for the workflow. You can search for Java with Maven or just search for Maven. You'll find, you know, pre-built workflow. You can take this pre-built workflow. You can take this as it is. Okay. Now, if you look at here, we got the pre-built workflow. Okay. So we can use a lot of things from here, but let's remove the unnecessary stuff. Let's remove this. Okay. And let's remove this also. I don't want it. Want it to give clear picture. So what we can, for your workflow, yeah, we can say here, publish. Somebody, can you go on mute, please? Change using GitHub. Balkish or someone who is on, who is there? Just wanted to. I don't. I'm not able to see that screen. Please, can you go on mute, please? Okay. Thank you. This is the name for our workflow. Very simple. Okay. And this is the trigger. Either you're pushing something on main branch or pull request. Either of two, whichever comes right, it will trigger this flow. Okay. So I have a jobs here. Build job. You can give whatever name you want. That name will come while running it. So we'll say here, instead of build, I'll just give name that publish. Okay. We need a machine. So this is what it will give. Runs on open to latest. Okay, so we'll use it latest. There is no nothing wrong right now with this guy because we are publishing it. If you build it, definitely could be having problem. Okay. So first, I don't need this all caching part. I just check out I need. So how I can do it? I just take it one by one. So control V. Just remove this. This is YAML file, right? So indentation is very important. So this is checking out repo. Okay. Here on this step, we are getting all the data, all the repo downloaded on this machine. Second one, I don't want this caching and all blah blah blah. So I'll just remove this. Now what I'm doing here, I'm just publishing it. So publish and state to exchange. But to publish this asset, I need catalog CLI, right? And I need those variables. Okay. So for that, let's look at my already built. Yeah. So if you remember, till this part we are done. Now I need this. So if I go ahead here, Control C, I'll explain this. I'm not skipping anything. Please be with me. So this part, what we are doing here, we are installing first the Anypoint API Catalog CLI, and then we are publishing. So I have created secret. You remember how to access those secrets? So we need to access by env and give variable name and prefix those variable names with secrets. And the syntax is dollar curly bracket in curly bracket. And these are the secrets I have created. Platform underscore username, platform underscore password, and I have assigned those secret values to these variables. These are local variables for my job. Okay, and this is the command. I'm running this command now. API catalog publish assets, and I'm trying to pass those credentials in my command itself. The second way of running the command. First way, create that config file only execute this command, or in the command itself we can pass this values. Okay, let's see now. So these three values I'm passing it, and let's save this. Hope we are writing code on main branch. Okay, this main branch. Okay, start commit. The moment I say commit it will trigger my workflow. Okay, it should. Let's have a look at it. It triggered already because we checked in something to our repo and it triggered our workflow pipeline. So I gave the name public assets. Default name, if you go with this, it will come build over here. So let's have a look at it, what is happening here. So it's installing catalog CLI now. And if everything works, it won't publish anything. Okay, I'll tell you why. Because we have already published with this version. Right, where is that? Somewhere here. Okay. I don't have that. Where is that? Okay. So with 1.0.1, we are already published, right? And in the code, if you see, nothing has changed. In the code, error out. Following name, author project do not exist. Okay. No, not problem. But it should download this authors. Okay, not an issue. Let's go ahead and to simplify this. What I can do? This one, right? No, not this one. This one. I'll do one thing. Control X. This is just a workaround, okay? Okay, so I have now. And for this path is throwing error. Okay, so maybe I need to have forward slash or something because on Ubuntu, right, this path is throwing error. Okay, so simply I remove that path. And now I'll just say 2. And I'll try to add some more thing here. So let's say what I can add here something. Let's see some changes. Okay, save this, and if you go to this status, okay, I made these changes, and now add. I nothing specified, and oh sorry, this I missed this. Then the moment I push from here, it should trigger a job. And what
Ashish,
happened?
sorry to disturb. There is a
Uh,
question from Rima. Can we
uh-huh.
include fragments in descriptor file?
Fragments in descriptor file. Fragments. Yes, we can have multiple rambles. That's what it means, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
we can. I need to pull, right, because our remote branch is ahead of our local branch, so we need to pull first because we have added the Maven file there, right? The workflow file. So we need to, now I can say push, push. Okay. So the moment I did it, go to actions, it should trigger. It's triggered. Okay, so publish asset. Let's wait and watch now. Go ahead and talk into our exchange also. And if it runs successfully, it should publish with 1.0.2 and remove one tag from there. Yeah. So that's all from my side. If you have any questions, let me know. Other than that last. Now it should work. Yeah, it's publishing. I need to see whether that's the backward slash is forward. I mean, I need to have their forward slash. I need to see, because it's Ubuntu, right? On the Windows, it's working fine. So Ubuntu, right? So there should be a forward slash. Yeah. Any questions? That's the agenda, and that's, I think, I have covered so far. It's published successfully. See here, and now if I refresh it, go here. It's 1.0.1, right? Let's publish it. Yeah, see, it's 1.0.2 now. Okay, and if you go to the new UI and go to the tags, the tag is deleted, right? If you look at what was the tag, then go to the library is removed. Okay, so now you can see that it's up to date and it's pointing to 1.0.2. So this is published from pipeline. 1.0.1 was published from our manual approach. So both the approach we have covered as so far here. Thank you. Over to you, Balkesh.
Thanks,
If there are any questions,
Yeah, if
we can,
anyone has any question, please.
yeah, post it here.
Yeah, there is a question from Dinesh. Can we export that catalog log YAML and home.md file for the existing assets?
Existing assets. What do you mean by that? That mean the asset is already there. Oh, no, 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 no. I think we need to prepare it, right? Get the, and this is for the assets. Is this, if I'm not wrong, are you talking about the assets which are published on exchange?
You have a mic, Dinesh, you can speak.
Yeah, yeah. Exchange, okay. You can do that, but exporting catalog, I don't understand, right? So you need to build the catalog. You get the specification, okay? Prepare that home.md file, and then run the command that will prepare the metadata for your specification. But still, I'm not convinced your question, sir. Exporting catalog.yaml from existing catalog.yaml won't be there. It will get used for publishing your metadata. So right now here, I don't see any catalog.yaml, right? No, that is already used for, that is a script to uh, you know build the specification properly. Add these things to the specification. I think if I am not wrong, you're saying that, okay, let me add tags, let me add contact number details, let me add specification, and then extract the catalog.m. I didn't try that, Dinesh. Okay, but I don't see any command for that also. Let me try. If you go here and say API uh, catalog, anything like export, I don't see anything like export here. Okay, so I don't see anything. This command can do that. Okay, okay. If there are any questions, please go ahead. Otherwise, we'll jump on to the quiz.
One quick question. So every
Yeah.
time if the asset, we need to go ahead and change the catalog file. Is there any way we can dynamically take the version, the latest version that we are publishing, or every time we need to change it manually to check in the exchange first and then give the version? Let's say currently we have 1.0.2 that you have
Mhm.
published.
Uh-huh.
So next time if you wanted to publish a new asset, we have to go and check the asset version in the exchange only, right?
Yeah, version criteria is there, right? Version strategy we can use in the catalog.ml, right? we can add the, I showed you right in the slide. Okay, I didn't use it. I showed you one thing. Let me show you. Uh, are you still able to see my screen?
Yes, Ashish.
Yeah, this one I was talking about. Okay, so this measure increase, based on that you can run the command.
Okay.
So
Change.
it will the asset version will get changed automatically.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's all, guys. If you have more
Yeah.
questions,
Thanks,
you can take.
Ashish. I will
Thank you
take.
so much.
I will stop
Thank
recording. So.
you. Yeah.